So an example would be, you would have y equals x plus 3, and then y would equal negative 2x minus 1, okay? Now, if we do these graphically, which we don't do, the x plus 3 would start here, and then the slope is 1, so it'll go up 1 over 1, and this is what the graph would look like. And then this one would have started at negative 1 and goes down 2 over 1, and it would look like this. Now what we're trying to do is find this point, the x and y point that is, so it looks like negative 2 and 1 would be the solution. Okay, now, what we do is we have different methods that we solve. Now, one of them isn't graphically though, okay? We have what's called the substitution method. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So, and number 1 and 2 are sort of set up that way, and you might want to, most of the time we're going to do elimination, but there's a section Wednesday that you have to use a substitution. Now since they're both solved for y, we replace this y with negative 7x minus plus 1. So negative 7x plus 1 equals negative 8x plus 2. Now, I like working with positive x's, so if I add the 8x to both sides, x plus 1 equals 2, and then when you minus 1, x equals 1. Now, you put x equals 1 in any of the equations, either one. So y would equal negative 7 plus 1, so y would equal negative 6. Now, you have to write your answer in a ordered pair, an x and a y, so your answer is 1, negative 6. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the ordered pair as the solution. A lot of your substitution problems will look like this one, and what that means is that this y here is replaced with the x minus 3 for y up there. So this would be 7x minus 4. You resubstitute y as x minus 3, and that equals 9. Now that's 7x minus 4x plus 12, negative 4 times negative 3, equals 9. You add these together, 3x plus 12 equals 9. So when you minus 12, 3x equals negative 3, so x can equal negative 1. And then we back substitute all the time, right there. So y would equal negative 1 minus 3, so y would equal negative 4. And then you write your ordered pair.
Where did you get the negative 1? Oh, from the one that we had down there. Okay, I see what you say. X is negative 1. Okay.
Most of the time that we will be doing these problems, they'll be in this standard form like this, and then that means the x and y is on one side and the numbers are on the other. We do elimination. That means we set them up so that when we add together, we eliminate the x or the y. So when I add these two together, the x's go out and you get negative 2y equals negative 6. So when you divide by negative 2, y equals 3. Okay, now to find x, y equals 3 goes up in any of these. So if I put it there, that's negative x plus 15. 5 times 3 equals 22. When you minus 15, negative x equals 7. So x equals negative 7. Now remember, you write out as the x comma y. So this is the answer that you need to have down. Number 4, you don't eliminate anything when you add them. So what do we need to do? Yeah, times this one by a negative 1. So that's a negative 2x, a negative 9, and a plus 27. So the y's go out, so I get x equals 0. Now, 0's a number, and that works just fine. So when you put 0 in either equation, like the top, you get 3 times 0 plus 9y equals negative 27. That goes out. You divide by 9, so y would equal negative 3. So your answer is 0 for x, negative 3 for y. Number 5, if we were to eliminate the y's, you could also eliminate the x's. What would you have to do to this bottom equation? That would be negative 12x minus 3y equals positive 21. The y's cancel out, so I get 2x minus 12x, which is negative 10x equals 0. When you divide by negative 10, x is 0 again. So I put that x equals 0 in this equation.
I'm confused there. How did you get the equals 0?
Negative 21 out of 21.
Okay.
Okay, so you can put it in either one of these equations, that x equals 0. So 2 times 0 plus 3y equals negative 21. So when you divide by 3, y would be negative 7. So your answer is 0 and negative 7 for your x and y. Now, the 6th one is where you need to times both equations, okay? And you need to get opposites. Since the y's have opposite signs, what would we have to multiply the top, these equations by? The top
7.
one by what?
7.
And the bottom one by 2,
2.
okay? All right, so the top one would give you a negative 63x minus 14y equals 154. 7 times 22. And the bottom one is negative 16x plus 14y equals 4. When you add these together, the y's go away, you get negative 79x equals 158. How many times will 79 go into 158? 2. So x, and then since it's negative, it would be negative 2. Okay, so we're halfway there. I'm gonna put that x equals negative 2 right in there. So that's negative 8 times negative 2 plus 7y equals 2. 16 plus 7y equals 2. When you minus 16, 7y equals negative 14. So when you divide by 7, y also equals negative 2. Now you could mix the x, y up here and still get the right. Okay? All right, elimination. We're gonna be doing most of our problems with the elimination method. Now, look what goes on here on number 7. We got some weird thing going on, okay? So it looks like if we multiply this top one by 2, does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, now that gives you 12x minus 6y equals negative 6. What happens when you add those together?
Both y's and x's cancel out.
And 0 equals 0. Okay, now, that is true, isn't it? 0 does equal 0. So that is a true statement. Now, when you come up with equations, there's going to be times that now, most of the time, they will have one solution like this. But sometimes two lines will be parallel to each other. And parallel lines do not intersect, so there's no solution. And then a few of the times, they are the exact same line. They coincide, they are equating for the same line. And the answer is infinite many solutions. Now, when you have one of these, you have to say no solution or infinite solutions. Can't just say, like we did, 0 equals 0. Now, if it's true, they are the same line. If it says 0 equals 0, that means they coincide and they're the same line. So our answer then for that number, is it 7 problem there? Or, yeah. So this is a true statement. It's true. Now, so that means it's the same line. You don't need to put that, but you have to put it's an infinite solution. Infinite solutions. Okay? So you do have to state that. Okay? So if we take a look at number 8, the snowman problem, okay? When I times the bottom by a 2, I get 12x minus 6y equals negative 24. So this says 0 equals negative 2. And that's a false statement. So that means these are parallel lines. So what's the answer here? So this is the no solution. So you have to write no solution. Okay, now, we are going to do some story problems, okay? And our story problems start with a distance part on these, all right? So what we do is a boat travels 147. Now on these motion problems where we're in motion, my distance is equal to the velocity times the time. Now, that's like if we go 50 miles per hour and we go for 1 hour, we know that we go 50 miles. So these hours cancel in your problem. So you take your speed or your velocity times the time, and that gives me a distance. Now that's how we're gonna solve these motion problems, okay? So what you do is you start here at a city and you go down a stream here, a river, and you go 147 miles. And you come to another city down here, okay? And the current is going this direction, okay? So the boat travels downstream and back. The downstream took 7 hours, okay? So we're taking the distance, 147 equals my velocity. We don't know the velocity of the boat, but the current is in the same direction. So the boat speed plus the current, and it takes 7 hours. So when you have your boat here and the current, they're both going in the same direction. Now when you come backwards, so this is with the current, so when you come and you're against the current, you still travel the same distance, but the minus the current. See, when you come this direction, we are against the current. So it's the speed of the boat minus the current, and it takes us over 2 days to make that 150 mile trip. So there's your equation, and then we solve it, okay? Now you get rid of these parentheses. So 147 equals 7b plus 7c, and 147 equals 49b minus 49c, okay? All right, so now we solve that. The c's are, so I'm going to times this one by 7, okay? So I go 7 times 147. 1,029 equals 49b plus 49c. So when I add these together, I get 1176 equals 98b, and the c's go out. So you divide by 98, and b equals, so is that just 12? 12. So the speed of the boat is 12 miles per hour. So we are going miles per hour, okay? So now I would put the 12 right in here. So 147 equals 7 times 12, which is 84, e plus 7c, whoops. So when I minus 84, 63 equals 7c. So when you divide by 7, the speed of the current is 9. Now, you don't need to put those in ordered pairs because it's just the boat and the current. So actually, if the speed of the boat was 12 and we minus 9, no wonder we were only going 3 miles per hour coming back. That's why it took us 2 days, 9 hours to get back. You will have a problem on the test, just like that, okay? Now, on the next page, instead of a boat, they have a plane, okay? So a plane travels 630 miles to Madrid and back. The trip there was with the wind and it took 7 hours. So we would say 630, that's the distance. Remember, distance equals velocity times the time. That's gonna equal the plane plus the wind. See, we were with the wind and it took us 7 hours. Now, if we are into the wind, the distance is the same, but it's plane minus the wind now, and it took us 21 hours. These are set up the same exact way every time, okay? So you'll have plane plus wind or volt plus current, and then volt minus and here, okay? So then I'm gonna write 630 equals 7P plus 7W, and 630 equals 21P minus 21W. Okay, this is the elimination. I would times the top one by 3. Everybody agree with that? So this is 1890. 3 times 630 equals 21P plus 21W. $2520 equals 42P. So you divide by 42. And let's see, the plane is going to go, it'll be 6, is that 60? Now, let's put that 60 right in there for the plane, right there. So 630 would equal 7 times 60 plus 7W. 630 would equal 420 plus 7W. When you minus 420, 210 would equal 7W. When you divide by 7, 30 miles per hour is the wind. Okay, we will do this, okay? The other type of problem you are going to have is a mixture problem. You're going to mix two compounds together to get a single one, okay?
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to do this. Sorry.
All right, so now what we do here, and the first part of this is I'm gonna stay for this.
I was here for, I was
All
here
right,
for
okay.
that.
Okay, you're good. Now, there's a part here on these problems that's the hardest thing to do. And it's not, it's sort of, it's there that you don't write it down. And you need to start with this. A metallurgist needs to make 10 pounds of an alloy that contains 88% gold. Now he's going to melt one metal that's 70% gold with pure gold. How much of each should he use? Now this is the part that you have to write down. This 10 pounds. You're gonna take an X, so much of X, and so much of Y, and that gives you 10 pounds. So you need to put the x plus y equals 10. Now, we're gonna let the x be the 70% gold, the y be the pure gold. Now, pure gold's 100%, isn't it? And then the solution is the 88%. So now, your next equation would be x times 70% as a decimal, plus y, now that would be a 1, would equal 10 times 0.88. So we have our top one. Now, we don't like to work with decimals, so we want to multiply this by a number so that there's no decimals. Now, there's 2 decimals here, so what are we gonna multiply by? 100. So that would be 70x plus 100y equals, now that's 10 times 88, or 880. All right, now I have the 2 black equations, x plus y equals 10, 70x plus 100y equals 880. So now I'm gonna times this one by negative 70. So that's negative 70x minus 70y equals negative 700. Okay, now look what happens. The x's go out doing elimination, and I get 30y equals 180. So when you divide by 30, y equals 6. So I have 6 pounds of pure gold. Now, x is going to be 4 pounds. How in the heck did I get 4? Doesn't key, because x plus y is 10. So I get 4 pounds of 70% gold. So that's what you need to write down. So you have 6 pounds of the pure gold, add it to 4 pounds of 70%, and that will give you a mixture that's 88%. Okay, so see, we're gonna make 7 milligrams of an element. So on that problem there, your x plus y is going to equal 7. Now, and it's going to be at 43%. Now, he's going to melt 45% platinum with 38%. So let's let x be 45%. Y is going to be 38%, and the solution is 43%, right? So the next solution would be x times 0.45 plus y times 0.38 equals 7 times 0.43. We don't like to work with decimals, so we times, since there's 2, we times by 100. 45x plus 38y would equal, that's 7 times 43, 301, okay? So, I'm gonna times this one by negative 45. You could also do negative 38. So that's negative 45x minus 45y equals negative 350. 7 times 45, okay? the x's go out, I get negative 7y equals negative 14. So y is going to be 2. And y would be 2 milligrams of the 38%. So x is going to be how many? So it's 5 milligrams of the 45%. In your homework on this section today, you have a weird problem that tries to mess you up just a little bit. Okay, now, your homework, okay? The first few problems, 5 through, just says substitution method, just so that you solve for them, okay? But we have a airplane problem, which is number 65, that is a little weird, okay? Because they give us a 1 hour and 12 minutes, okay? We can't have time in different units. They have to be the same. So if we're looking at that problem 65, okay? Now remember, my distance is going to be velocity times the time. So we're going 180 miles. And because we are into a headwind, that's the plane minus the wind, it's going to take us 2 hours. Now, if we are with the wind, the 180 is going to be the plane plus the wind. But now, I have 1 hour and 12 minutes. I need to put it into hours. Now, 12 minutes is what part of an hour? Isn't that 12 over 60, which is 1 what? 1/5, right? So this is 1 1/5 hour, but I'm going to make it 6/5, okay? We don't like we like fractions less than decimals, right? So to get rid of that 5, I'm going to times everything by the 5. So 900 equals, these cancel, and I get 6p